done enough for today, though. It's time to call it a night. So we'll get on to that one next week. So thanks for watching. Tune in next time for whatever part we're on. See you then. All right, welcome back, everybody. I'm out here again to continue this project. I was planning on starting today, just reconnecting things for the engine, and didn't get far at all and realized I really pooched a couple things putting it in here. So let me show you the issues I found. Okay, so this is down transmission side. First thing I noticed was that I had the shifter cables as well as the slave cylinder pinned up between the transmission and the body. So that was not good. I was able to get them out barely, but this one's been damaged pretty well, so that ain't good. Hopefully it's just kind of superficial. Maybe I can patch that up a little bit. And then the other thing, if you come over here, this drive axle on the passenger side kind of fell down and is under the oil pan and cranked over. So that's bad. I can't get it out. I tried to swing the motor forward a little bit and it's not enough to get it out. So my options are lift the motor back out so that I can try to get it out, or maybe separate it from the wheel here and slide the whole thing out and try to get back in. I don't know what's going to be worse, honestly. I really hate to get back into this mess. Although maybe, I mean, I could just do this side and lift it up a little bit over here and maybe that's enough to get it out. Maybe that's better than messing with this wheel bearing here. I guess I'll do that, as much as I really hate to. Okay, folks, that was an absolute disaster. Uh, that took, I don't know, 2 hours to get back to where I thought I was when I started the day today. So this has been the worst couple hours on this project for sure. Maybe any engine project I've ever done. So let me tell you what happened. Uh, so as you recall, plan A was disconnect this motor mount here, lift it up a little bit with the hoist to try to get that drive axle unpinned. That didn't work. Like, I had this thing up 6 or 8 inches and I still couldn't get it out. I tried pivoting it forward with a reverse clamp, still couldn't get it out. I looked in the book for getting this off and it seems not trivial. Also, the nut here is some kind of particular and I don't have a socket for that. So came back to this, decided I'm gonna have to take the whole engine out again, out of the way. So I took the transmission side off, also put the whole thing on the hoist, as I'm sure you saw, got it out as far as I could, finally was able to get that drive axle back in and fought the thing to get it all back together. The problem is, here's what I'm concerned about. Number one, that drive axle was pinned under the motor. So hopefully it didn't damage anything or get damaged itself. Number two, as I already pointed out, my shifter cables definitely have seen some damage. Hopefully they're still okay. Number three, this slave cylinder has seen some damage. I was sort of thinking that I might swap it out with the one. So there's already one on here from the used transmission, so I might just leave that one. So now that makes that decision a little easier. 4, this motor mount got kind of screwy putting it back together. So when I was reattaching it, I was having some trouble with the engine being at a weird tilt. So I was going to put in a couple bolts part way to just sort of hold it so that I could get the other side in and then lift it and get these snugged down. But somehow I think I got them cross-threaded, or at least this one. I think this one's maybe okay. This one's got, this is aluminum. I think I boogered up at least the top threads. So I'm not too happy about that. It came tight, but I was afraid to really put much muscle on it because I didn't want to feel those threads start to give out. So I don't know. This is definitely questionable. I have another piece on the other transmission that I could maybe swap out, but that wouldn't be very easy. On the other hand, it's going to be the easiest right now. I don't know. I may have to think about it. Maybe what I'll do is put some tight on this, and if it holds, then it's probably okay. And if I feel it start to give, then I've got a spare right over here. I've got this one. I mean, I can tell just by looking, these, threads look a lot better. So it's really only a couple, 3 bolts. Is that it? 4, 5. I don't know, not much. I mean, it'd be easy enough to take this one off. Maybe I'll do that, because I really feel like that other one's kind of screwed. So where was I? 4, 5. So I was having some problems with these exhausts, but somehow they miraculously just came up into position. I was fighting with them. I had the hammer out and the pry bar because they didn't seem like they were lining up, and I couldn't get them up here. I tried to clamp them up, but then I went down underneath and I noticed that the engine was kind of stuck on that lower pendulum mount, and when I pulled it down, the engine kind of slotted into place and these came right up. So I don't know, somehow they were pinned in there. Hopefully they're okay. So what a mess. That sucked. So I basically spent the whole day just redoing my screw-ups from yesterday that I didn't even know about. And now I've got this mount to think about. It looks pretty accessible. Maybe I could just, still got the hoist here. I could just lift it up, take this off, slap the new one in, maybe. Gosh, I don't know. I'll have to think about it. All right. Folks, so I decided I'm going to change out this transmission mount here. See if you can see. I don't know if you'll be able to see much down that hole, but it's pretty well boogered. Not good. I didn't feel good about that, and knowing that, basically that bolt, this bolt, is holding the whole weight of the engine, and it's vibrating around all the time and everything. So, and since being as I had another one sitting right here, what the hell? So I got the new one off. The new one. This came off the other car. These threads look great. Came off pretty easy. 3 through bolts, and then this little support. I did have to lower it down. I'm actually about to take it off. I had to lower it down quite a bit because these bolts, even though they're accessible, they're long and they're coming out right into the frame here. So I had to get it below so that they can come out. So I'll just zippy those off and put this new one on, and I think we'll be back in business. Okay. Got the new mount in, or bracket. Really this is the mount. This is the bracket for the transmission. Not too bad. Checked my drive shafts. They're where they're supposed to be. I think everything else is good. So I got some new bolts for this. The other ones looked okay, but I figure why not. So I'm gonna very carefully hand run these in. Oh yeah, much better. That other one was pretty gnarly. I think I'll feel a little better about having this one in here. That other one might have worked okay, but I would always be thinking about it. Well, until I forgot, which probably wouldn't take too long. If I'd had to go try to buy one of these, or if it had been real hard to get in, I don't know. It might have influenced my decision. Turned out it was pretty easy, and I had one right over there, so it seems like a no-brainer. But when you just spent 2 hours messing around with stuff that you'd already done once, it makes you lazy. Sometimes. It makes me lazy anyway. Okay, better. All right, so yesterday was pretty rough. Hopefully I'm back on track for today. Start again with reconnecting stuff on the motor here. So I'm gonna set the camera to high speed, play a little music, and knock some of this out. Okay, I haven't done much here. I torqued down the valve cover bolts. Those are supposed to be 7 foot-pounds according to the book. And I've been kind of trying to think ahead as much as possible for what I should do first here. I don't want to put a bunch of stuff together and then realize I got to take it apart to do something else. So I'm kind of starting at the bottom, more or less, and working my way up. So I was starting down here on the transmission. So my used transmission that I got, if you recall, already had a slave cylinder on it. They just cut the tubing. So I figured I'd leave that one since mine got pinched installing the engine anyway. This one's probably newer. So I just replaced the line to it, and that actually was pretty easy. I like this system they got. So let me show it to you over here on the bench. This is the one that came off my original motor. I just sort of had stuck this in, but it's got a little clip that you pull out. Where did I put it? Here it is. So you pull out this little retainer clip, and then it's got this fitting that's on an O-ring. It's got a notch. It slides in pretty easy, just like that, and then you put the clip back in. No matter which side, it would be in there like this. So then the clip goes in. I like that, pretty good. So I'll just have to remember to bleed out the other one at some point. Then the next thing I was doing is looking at these shifter cable ends. So these are the original ones. Again, the book says that you're supposed to replace these once you pop them off. So I ordered these ones on Amazon. Of course, they seem a little cheaper. These ones, I mean, they just look better. Oh, kitty. They, you know, have the Audi part numbers on them. These are just, you know, plastic, nothing on there. I don't know. So I guess the question is, what's better, the OEM used ones or the El Cheapo new ones? I don't know. So the other thing I noticed is, see, these have this little, you know, plus cut in them. So it actually goes all the way through. I don't know if you can see, I already greased these up, but, you know, it goes all the way through. And these don't have anything like that. These are solid, so I don't know why you would put a hole there. It seems like it would just let in grit. I don't know. What to do? I almost feel like I should use these old ones, just clean them up, give them some grease, and use these again. Because these just seem like crappy. Although, heck, they weren't cheap. I don't remember how much they were, but they weren't that cheap. They're probably like 15 bucks each. Anyway, what do you think about that? Another thing that I wanted to do before I get too far along here is put oil in the transmission. It had been drained. The fill plug is down here. I can get to it pretty easy right now, but I won't be able to later. So I got to think about that. I got to buy some. I looked up the type of oil it takes, but I got to go get some and do that before I get too far along here. Anyway, I just thought I'd stop and show you those couple things. And now I will continue. Kitty. Here's my helper, the cat. Okay, I went ahead and attached the drive axles and bled the clutch, and I decided to go with the new but crappier shifter linkage pieces, so I went ahead and put those on. So at this point I need to adjust the shift linkage. And this is kind of an interesting procedure here. So basically, I was just reminding myself by reading through this. So there's a way to lock the transmission into a position. It's got a little lock. You push down on the upper counterbalance and then turn this little lever to lock that. And then inside the car, you push the selector knob into a position where this special tool T10027 slots down in and holds that. And then the transmission and the selector are theoretically in the same position. And then you can lock down these end pieces and then it should be good in theory. So since I have this in my hand, I just thought I'd show you this. So what happens is these have a little lock that opens this up. So the cable that comes in has like it's almost like an all thread. It's got little threads that this thing can grip onto. So right now they're in the car, they're in this position so that the cable can move in and out. And then when everything is all set, you're supposed to just unlock these and that clamps down and it should be all good to go. I kind of remember the first time I did this, I had to do it a couple times to get it in position, but we'll see how it goes today. It's in neutral, it appears. So let's see if I can get this sucker locked in here. It's right behind the ye old starter, so I can barely reach it. In fact, might even have to remove this starter. Oh, no, there it goes. I can feel it. It wants to. Come on. There it is. Okay. She's locked. So now we'll go inside the car. My helpers found a new favorite place to be here. All right. Hopefully you can see. So here's the shifter. Ooh. Okay. Oh man, this thing. This is the first time I've really worked inside the car here, and it has seen better days. Oh boy, oh boy. All right. Holy smokes. So this comes off. I was thinking of replacing this nice shiny metal shift knob with a different one anyway. I'm gonna move it out of the way for now. So uh-oh. This is not what I expected to see down here. This doesn't look like the other one. Oh man. I don't know if this is an aftermarket shifter or this is just a different style, but I don't know what I'm looking at here, people. Not at all what I expected. Let me go back to the book. Okay, I haven't made a lot of progress here. I was looking at the book and for a minute I thought maybe it was a different version of shifter that requires a little special tool to like hold it in place. But the more I look at it, the more I think that that's not the case at all. I think that somebody's great idea, you know, not a fan of this aftermarket stuff. I mean, that's a pretty cool shift knob, you gotta admit. But I think that in order to get this puppy to work, and by the way, you can't even see this part because it's covered up by the stupid boot. But I think to get this on, I guess they had to do some modifications down here. I don't know. This doesn't seem right, does it? See how this is, the end of this flange is bent up. There's a screw hole, but nothing in it. Like how? I don't know. I'm confused because that cannot possibly be how it was originally built, but where would that go? Maybe there was something above this that screwed on. I don't know. So I'm looking at my book here. So this is kind of the best picture I have of what it's supposed to look like. So I think the knob is supposed to have the little piece on it that slots in. I think I can see the hole down here. That's the bottom part of where the little device goes in. Maybe? I don't know. This is a mess. I'm not quite sure what to do here. I don't really know how it's supposed to look. I don't know what all is missing. All right, it's the next day or two. Back here looking at this. So this whole shifter debacle has been a little bit, I don't know, disheartening. In fact, most of the interior of this car is pretty disheartening. The outside's in pretty good shape. Interior, this is the first time I've really been in here doing much, but it's been around a while. Anyway, so the shifter. Wasn't really sure what to do about this. I had actually already ordered a new boot for it because I had noticed that this was on here, and I don't like this metal thing. I don't really know what the appeal is. So I'd ordered one that's got, you know, the shift layout and all that I was planning to put on anyway. I didn't realize that all this interior, you know, the mechanics of it had all been gutted out too. So I was thinking about what to do, and I, you know, as you recall, the alignment hole piece is missing, so you can't really properly set it up to the transmission. I was thinking that I might be able to just fiddle with it and play with it until I could find, you know, get it working. That's a possibility. But I also was considering that there's supposed to be a functionality here where you push down to get into reverse. And I was looking at it, and there's no way to push this down here. And I was kind of wondering what is going on with that. So long story short, I was looking at the parts diagram, and what I discovered that I think has happened here is some of the pieces that are missing include a spring and a gate. So the push down's really only happening up here that allows you to get into reverse. So as it is, even if I could get this set, I think how it was being used is first is over a little bit and up, and reverse is just over more and up. Which seems kind of crazy to me, because without that push down gate to get into reverse, it seems like it would be easy enough to be sitting at a light and think you're putting it in first and you're really putting it in reverse. And then when you take off, that's not going to be good. Maybe you can kind of feel where that is. I don't know. I hadn't driven it. But it also seems like, gosh, if you loaned it to somebody or somebody else was driving it that wasn't familiar with it, it seemed like it'd just be inevitability that it was going to happen eventually. Somebody's going to have it in reverse when they thought they had it in first. So that's not good. So what I decided to do was try to get this back to normal. So I pulled up the ETCA parts diagram for this shifter assembly. So I believe that basically all this stuff is gone. Maybe this is even something different. I don't know. So you're looking at part number 13, I guess, and you know, includes all this stuff, which is what I need. In fact, that little piece right there, I think, is the piece that has the little eyelet. And then there's this plate on here that I had noticed before. Doesn't seem kosher. It's bent up. I can't believe that that's right. And I don't really see where that is on here. There's this plate. It's got a cutout. I don't know. So number 13 here, gear shift lever. Here's the part number. So I looked up this part. So I got on Etka basically, and I looked up, 2000 GTI shifter, and this is what I get. And this all seems right. But when I looked up this part number on the various places that sell these, Volkswagen parts, some of the sites that I looked at said this was only for a Jetta, this part number. And then I found some that said it was for either, and Etka said it was for GTI. So I don't know. So anyway, I ordered it. Hopefully it actually fits. It was kind of expensive. It was about $100 or 98 or something. So I'll be waiting for that to come in, and then hopefully it works. I don't know, who knows what else might be missing. It's a little bit hard to say until I get the new parts and see what I've got. So that's kind of a mess. But that's my plan. So I ordered parts. In the meantime, I guess I will just continue on with what I can do on the motor. I don't want to put everything back together up there because it's going to make it harder to get to the shifter linkage that I still need to mess with. But I can do some other stuff. I can do some of the wiring and the AC compressor and power steering pump and all that stuff. So I think my plan will be to just kind of plug along on that while I wait for these parts to come in.